Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video, let's do the full review of this Redmi Note 8 Pro. And I know, guys, I took my time with this one. The reason is that when I initially got this device, I had some touch issues, but with the first update, that was completely gone. But I just wanted to wait again. So like, even after that second update, I no longer have that touch issue. So I have now used it quite a bit. But again, most of the time I was using it with a single SIM, not with dual SIM. And let's get into the review, and I'll divide it between the pros and cons. And I have to say right away, it does offer some very good value, because yes, there are some cons, but again, the cons are sort of very less on this device considering the price point and the performance that you're getting. And before we jump into the pros and cons, here are the quick specs. I won't go in depth about the physical overview and all those things, because I've already posted the unboxing video that has all the details. I'll leave it in the description area, so watch that for more info. But before we proceed, here are the quick specs. As you can see, this Redmi Note 8 Pro is powered by the new MediaTek Helio G90T chipset, and it comes with that 6.53 inch IPS LCD screen and comes in various storages like 64 or 128, and RAM is good thing is that base is 6 gigabytes and it also goes up to 8, and other specs are on the screen. So let's jump between the pros and cons. And again, as you can see, this one is also having that big screen. That's the thing that we are seeing these days. So it has that 6.53 inch screen, and yes, definitely it's a big device. As you can see, you can't reach all over to the edge, but I got used to it, and the weight distribution is fine on this device, as you can see. And I like the fact that the screen quality is a good one. It's an IPS grade screen, so the viewing angles are also actually good on this one. And if you notice, the edges are like curved like this, so it's easy to hold in the hand. It doesn't poke you. So again, in terms of in-hand feel, I would say it's a good one. And also the back is slightly curved, so though it's a big one, I would say it's easier to hold. But definitely when I was typing fast or something, I had to use it in two hands. So that is something you have to note. And then, again, it comes with MIUI 10 as of now. You haven't got the update for the MIUI 11, but we'll be getting that soon, hopefully. So now let's move to the next point, and that is how is it in terms of call quality. And I tested this for the most of the time with Airtel in Hyderabad. I would say I even traveled one day to actually Delhi, and there also I used it. And the call quality from the earpiece is actually really good. It's crystal clear. So in terms of the earpiece, I did not have any problems. Even at the maximum volume I was keeping, it was good. So no issues regarding that. And even the microphone that is there is actually good. The other parties never complained that the cellular call is muffled or something like that. I even took some calls via speakerphone, and it's adequately loud. It's a single speaker, but adequately loud. So in that area, I did not have a problem. Now let's talk about network reception. This is different from call quality, and here I would say it's neither the best nor bad. It's good enough, I would say. In this room, as you know, this is a soundproof room. Most of the phones struggle with signal, and that's the same case even with this one. As you can see, this is with Airtel, and it's showing half bar. So I can get a call and I can take the call, but I have to move out of this room, and then it becomes clear. But in most other situations, this is an extreme situation, I would say, the call quality is actually good on this. So network reception, I would say it's neither bad nor the best I've seen. It's good, I would say. Now let's move to one more thing that I like is this phone still retains that IR blaster. That means that has that remote control functionality. These days you're not finding a lot of phones with that, so that is something nice that they have retained on this. Now moving to the performance of the phone, here I would say this is typical MIUI that you have seen, so nothing much different in that. It's typical MIUI, and this one, as I've told you, is still on MIUI 10. That's on Android 9. But in general usage, I would say the phone is very responsive. I did not have any issues of lagginess or anything on this. Even the RAM management surprisingly has been done well. As you can see, the apps stay in memory and stuff. So that way I'm like very happy with the performance. This is running on the new MediaTek G90T chipset. It's actually very powerful chipset. It's sort of a gaming chipset, and again, it shows I never had any issues of lagginess or anything on this phone. And I'm happy to say that even though it's running on MIUI, the RAM management has been done well on that. So in terms of day-to-day performance, I would say I did not have an issue with the phone. But again, it's MIUI. So I'll talk about some of the MIUI stuff in the later part of the video. But in terms of general performance, as you can see, it's a very fast and fluid phone. RAM management is good. I actually didn't have a problem with the phone. So the chipset handles everything, and again the base variant also comes with 6 GB of RAM, so that's not an issue. Now let's move to the next point, that is regarding gaming, because this has that gaming chipset. I won't go in depth regarding this. I've already posted a dedicated gaming review where I played the heavy games like that PUBG and even Call of Duty, and as you can see, it handled it without any issues. And the good thing is that you can keep these games at very high settings and then also it works. So gaming is no issue on this phone. Now moving to the speaker, it has a single speaker here, and I would say the speaker is adequately loud, but again it's not a dual speaker. Let me actually show you. It can get actually really loud. Let's just play my last video. Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video let's do the review of these true wireless earbuds from Blockport. I'm just gonna pause it. So the speaker is actually adequately loud, but again it's not a stereo speaker. But again, at this price point, it starts at 15,000. I would say the performance is good enough. Now let's also talk about the battery life on this one. And as I've told you guys, I'll be very transparent. I did most of my testing with the single SIM, because my other secondary SIM was on my Galaxy Fold, and I would say with the single SIM, the performance is actually really good. On an average, it was lasting me for over about 2 days. And this test I wanted to do, how does it last if you're just using it casually? I'll just give you a live example. I think so. This has been like about 3 days since I've left it for charge, and still it's showing about 54%. That's crazy. Let me show you. If I go to the power usage, yeah, let me show you. These are the apps. This is the hardware. So yes, let's look at this, the history. So it's saying it's on the battery from 3 days 23 hours, 3 days 21 hours, almost 4 days, and still it has 54% battery life. Yes, this is not very heavy usage. I would say last 3-4 days was chill, weekend and stuff. I didn't get a lot of calls, but screen on time has about 2 hours 7 minutes, and voice calls about 50 minutes. So decent usage. So the thing I want to say is that battery life is really good, and if you're sort of a casual user also, it should give you about 1.5 to 2 days of battery life without any issues. And if you're sort of a very light user, you can expect about 3 days of battery life on this one, which actually surprised me. So in that respect, the MediaTek G90T, in terms of idle power drain, they have optimized it very well. Now let's talk about the cameras, because again, this is a camera centric smartphone, and this is the first smartphone from Redmi to have that 64 megapixel sensor. Apart from that, it's a quad camera setup. We also have that ultra wide angle lens, and 2 megapixel for depth and 2 megapixel for macro. As you can see, the main camera is here and the other 2 cameras are here. This is not a camera, this is actually the fingerprint sensor, and we have the 4th camera over here. Let me actually also show you the fingerprint sensor before I show you the sample shots. The fingerprint sensor, like most Xiaomi phones, is very fast, but the thing is that I don't like the location of this. I've now gotten used to it because I've been using it for almost 4 weeks. I've gotten used to it. But again, initially I was just smudging up this lens because it's very close so they should have kept this fingerprint location a little bit different. It just merges with that one. But anyway, that's nitpicking. Now let's talk about the camera performance. So let me actually show you some of the sample shots that I have taken with this one. And as you can see, the primary camera, that's the 64 megapixel, does actually a very good job. As you can see with these sample shots, outdoor shots come out really good. We have a lot of detail in them, and even the wide angle lens is decent in outdoor conditions, as you can see. And also when moving to close-up shots, it actually does a very good job. Now the biggest surprise for me was that yes, most of the camera smartphones actually do great in outdoor lighting conditions, but when we even move to indoor lighting conditions, as you can see some of the sample shots that I've taken here, and this is not that good lighting here, also it performed actually really well compared to the competition under 20,000. I would say the camera performance was actually really good, as you can see. The only nitpicking I would say is that, as you can see, that ultra wide camera lens lens in these artificial lighting conditions was just bad. The colors were off, as you can see, and this is even after the 2 updates. So the wide angle lens performance, the color washout thing hasn't been solved. But apart from that, if you look at the regular shots that you're getting, even portraits, I feel even in artificial lighting, it did actually a very good job. Now moving to the front facing camera, the front facing camera performance was also very good. As you can see, the pictures are very sharp, as you can see, and even when we invoke that portrait bokeh mode, it does a good job. And that was the same case, surprisingly, even in indoor and artificial lighting conditions. So if we just talk about static pictures with this one, I would say it actually did a very good job, and Xiaomi has managed to optimize that image processing for the 64 megapixel camera. But when we talk about the video, I am not that happy. Let's first talk about the front facing camera. So here is a sample taken from the front facing camera. Hi guys, recording this video with the Redmi Note 8 Pro's front facing camera, and it's pretty sunny here. So let's do one thing, let's move to a shadowed area, and the audio is also being recorded via its internal microphone. And guys, as you can see, I'm just walking around. Wow, the generator switched on. Electricity is gone. So anyways, what do you guys think about the video recording with the front facing camera of this Redmi Note 8 Pro? The audio is also being recorded via the same. Do let me know in the comment section. So as you can see, the video that we got from the front facing camera was actually really good. I didn't have an issue. The audio pickup was also good. But now let's move to the cons, and I'll have to start that with the rear camera's video performance. Here is a sample that I took with the rear camera, and this is after the 2 updates. Initially also it was bad, but this is after the latest update. This is the sample. Recording this video with the rear facing camera of this Redmi Note 8 Pro, and guys, I'm recording it at 1080p at 30 fps. There's also an option of 60 fps, but when I do that, when I'm walking, the image is not stabilized. So if you want the stabilization, keep it to that 30 fps, and yes, it can also record in 4K. And let's see how it focuses. Let's just go closer to this object. Yes, it is in focus, and if I move out, that's also in focus. So the focusing won't be an issue. And I'm just going to walk again to give you an idea how is the recording. You guys let me know how's the recording, because now I've got 2 software updates and now the video recording looks good, but before that it was horrible. But you guys let me know, what do you think about the video recording at 1080p at 30 fps. So as you saw, that video quality was simply not that good. The picture was simply not that sharp. The colors were weird, and this happened in everything. When you have all the modes, but what's the use of these modes? Even in outdoor lighting conditions, when the lighting is so good, the picture was just weird, and that is a very surprising, because that's happening for the main rear facing camera. So I don't know if they can solve it, because they haven't solved it till now after 2 updates, but the video quality from the rear facing camera is surprisingly the biggest disappointment that I have with this smartphone. Now let's move to the next thing, and this is regarding the Gorilla Glass protection. Xiaomi says that it has a Gorilla Glass, and the back is also glass. So again, at least in this white color, it does hide the fingerprints, but again, Xiaomi does not apply any screen guard or anything. So I have been using it like this very roughly. I was putting in the back, and as you can see now, I don't know if the camera is able to capture, we can see some scratches on this one. So again, I would say if you're buying this smartphone, do apply a screen guard on this, because it can get some scratches. So that is something you have to be aware of. Now as it's running on MIUI, you do have those ad situation, but again, watch my unboxing video. If you follow those steps and disable all those options while you are setting up the phone, you should not see a lot of apps. I do see some stuff in the notifications here, some of the video notifications and stuff, but apart from that, I do not see ads. But again, if you're going to use some of the specific apps like the Mi Video and stuff, you will see ads in that. But apart from that, I did not have any major issue of ads on this one as of now, apart from some unnecessary notifications that I see from time to time here via Mi apps, but I didn't get some full screen apps while I was using third-party apps like this regularly. So that is regarding the ad situation I have. Now let's also talk about one more thing. As I've told you, initially when I got this phone, I had some serious touch lag issues, and only one other user has also mentioned about that to me via Twitter. But as I've told you, now after that got 2 updates, and now I'm not having any touch issue with this one. So I think so that was solved with the software OT update. But again, I just wanted you guys to let you know about it. So overall, as you can see, again, this is something that you have because it's MIUI, and this I don't like. If you go over here, you get the shortcuts and stuff. But again, this also recommends you a lot of junk apps and stuff like this. So these are some of the things where Xiaomi is trying to push some of the unnecessary apps and stuff like this. So you got to be careful about it. Use your head. Don't install junk apps and all those things, because you will get a lot of recommendation. So that is something that you have to be careful because of MIUI. But apart from that, I would say overall, this is a very good smartphone. In fact, it surprised me in some areas. For example, for static pictures, I would say this one had one of the best performance that I would say in a mid-range Android phone. Apart from the video performance with the rear-facing camera, that is simply very, very pure. But apart from that, the general performance is actually really good. The battery life was good, and even the gaming performance was very good. So as of now, I would say at that 15,000 price point, if you're okay with MIUI and some of the silliness that you have with the MIUI, that ad situation, I would say this is one of the best phones that you can get if we talk about price to performance ratio at 15,000 rupees. So that was my review of this Redmi Note 8 Pro. If you're already using this Redmi Note 8 Pro, do let me know what's your experience in the comment section below. And if you guys are still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.